we are keeping a close eye on the Pentagon briefing room, where at any moment we are expecting President Obama to make a statement on the U.S.'s strategy against ISIS. I'm joined here on the desk by Vladimir Duthier, and we have been waiting for this. This comes after the president sat down with not only his national security team, but also his top generals. And we have standing by for us right now are Margaret Brennan at the White House. Margaret, what can we expect to hear from the president today?
Well, Elaine, the president has been in this meeting now for nearly 2 hours, meeting with his top national security advisors, 24 of them, including, as you say, a number of generals, including CENTCOM Commander Lloyd Austin, who is very much focused on the president's mission to increase the number of assassinations of top ISIS leaders, increase the number of U.S. airstrikes, and to cut off the funding through ISIS's very lucrative oil trade that's primarily conducted across the Turkish border. What you'll hear from the president is likely an assessment of where that military campaign is. He sees this as two prongs: the fight on the battlefield in Iraq, Syria, and now Libya, where the U.S. has also conducted airstrikes, but also the fight here within the U.S. Against radicalization, particularly in the wake of the San Bernardino attacks. And you are going to hear from the president throughout this week on a number of different forums this effort to reassure the American public in the wake of those recent attacks. He'll be out at the National Counterterrorism Center on Thursday. Tomorrow we'll see him at a swearing-in ceremony for new immigrants to the U.S., and that is focused on countering some of this anti-Muslim backlash or anti-immigrant sentiment that you are hearing. The president's message is going to be there. You are going to feed ISIS's recruitment if you in any way contribute to the idea that the U.S. is at war with Islam, or that the West and Islam are at war. So today, this is not only a military assessment, but part of a very calculated political campaign to counter some of this resounding criticism from Republican candidates, in particular, that the president's strategy against ISIS is weak. The president throughout this week is going to say, here's what I'm doing. He's sending his defense secretary today to Turkey and to the Middle East to try to seal off that border with Syria, across which foreign fighters are passing, along with ISIS's oil trade. And he's also sending his Secretary of State, John Kerry, to Moscow today to sit down with Russia's Vladimir Putin to try to broker a peace deal in the war in Syria.
Margaret, this comes just a week after the president, in a rare moment, addressed the nation from the Oval Office about his strategy to defeat and ultimately destroy ISIS. Do we expect to hear anything about, there's been some success in northern Iraq with the Kurds, but Mosul remains the key city in Iraq, Iraq's second largest city. Are we expecting to hear anything about what the president is doing to retake that city from ISIS?
You're not going to hear a lot of new today. When it comes to the strategy, it's not shifting, it's intensifying, the White House would say. You're pointing out some very key cities that have been very much in focus for Iraqi forces with the help of U.S. airstrikes to try to retake from ISIS. There is a real push. There's an effort in Ramadi in particular. But what we hear, what I am hearing certainly from Iraqi and Arab officials, is that there is not the sense of urgency on the ground inside Iraq that matches the level of urgency that you are hearing from the central government there and from the coalition forces who are fighting this campaign primarily through the air and not with the support of robust ground forces. The Iraqi forces are on the ground in Ramadi. You are seeing some fighting, but it is getting increasingly difficult. It looks like the president is stepping out to the podium right now.
Let's go ahead and listen in.